Hello there, my name is Ruthann Johnson. Welcome to the first of my storytelling tutorials for big kids. When you think of storytelling, what is the image that goes through your mind? The entertainment of a foregone people? A pre-television people? An internet-less people? A video game-less board game people? Is storytelling in this modern era designated only to campfire people? No, storytelling has been around since people started talking. It's an important part of communicating. Did you know that the human mind holds on to stories much longer than facts? Whether it's fiction or a true account, if you know how to tell a good story, people will listen. So do away with the thought that storytelling is an outdated mode of entertainment. Storytelling is well and alive. We all tell stories. And this series of storytelling tutorials is about teaching you how to effectively hold the attention of an audience, whether it be one person or a whole room full. I'm sure you've all heard the saying, children should be seen and not heard. An old proverb dating back to the 15th century. Well, those times are gone. We've changed a lot since then. And we now realize there is a need for children to be able to open up. And because of that need, it is encouraged in our educational system. Collectively, we've come to realize that it's important for children to be able to stand up in front of others and get their messages across. In the workplace, someone that is able to articulate their ideas are greatly valued. Storytelling is a great way to learn this skill. So let's have some fun. Join me in this series of storytelling tutorials as I teach about voice, pacing, knowing your audience, mood, fables, legends, story maps, confidence, social cooperation, story foundations, topics, themes, setting, plots, storytelling exercises, and much, much more. I can help you make a story come together. Does it sound overwhelming? It's not. Anyone can tell a good story. It's mostly about opening up and being yourself and learning a few skills. I've always learned by example. I need to be shown rather than just told. I see how someone does it and it helps me. So in every tutorial, I will tell a story from my personal life or from my Silverwolf Chronicles YouTube channel or a story that I'm making up in my head. Anyway, they'll all be my own original stories so I can break them down to create an atmosphere of learning. The first story I'm going to tell you is going to be from my Silverwolf Chronicles YouTube channel. The one where Ralph saves a squirrel. I'm jumping right into the middle of a series, but I think you'll be able to catch on. One where Ralph sees all. Ralph saw the whole thing from his scooter. He had been riding along at an easy speed, moving carefully around anyone that might be in his pathway. Polka Dot, in contrast, rode his new trike up and down the lawn, screaming at everyone. To 3 nibbling bunnies, he screamed, "Move! This isn't a deli going to greens elsewhere!" The bunnies screeched as his tires nearly nipped their pushy tails. Then a grasshopper flew onto his nose, to escape being run over. "Get off me!" Polka Dot yelled as he crashed into a rhododendron bush. A yellow goldfinch flew straight up in the air, turned back and scowled down at Polka Dot. He chirped loudly in protest. "Oh, go fly on the other side of town," Polka Dot told him. "That's our Washington State bird," Ralph called out. "He can move to another state for all I care," Polka Dot said as he zoomed toward the maple tree. "Coming through," he yelled at a lizard. The lizard jumped onto a rock just in time. Ralph glanced up at the old maple tree just in time to see a disaster in the making. "Stop!" he yelled as he jumped off his scooter. Everything to Ralph seemed to move in slow motion. A baby squirrel on his first climb up a tree, became flustered with all the noise and lost his grip on the bark of the old maple. He slipped all the way down the trunk just as Polka Dot came creaming around the tree. Squeak! The little squirrel cried as a back tire ran over his leg. Man down! Ralph yelled as he got to the scene of the accident. What are you talking about? Polka Dot stopped his bike. Polka Dot, you ran over a little woodland creature's leg. I didn't see anyone. Polka Dot jumped off his tricycle and looked behind him. Hey, he wasn't there a moment ago. The baby squirrel tried to limp away as Ralph moved toward him. Don't be scared. I won't hurt you. The baby squirrel squeaked as he limped in the other direction. Stop moving, Polka Dot ordered as he crisscrossed in front of the squirrel. Ralph, let me get him. I was the one that ran over him, not you. The squirrel had only one way to go, and that was up the tree. With 3 legs, he started to climb. The squirrel faltered as he began to fall backward. Stay still, Polka Dot yelled. Quit hollering, you're scaring him, Ralph said as he gently caught the squirrel. Don't fret, little guy. I'm going to take you to Silverwolf. Ralph rushed over to Julie's renovated plastic playhouse. It was now Silverwolf's schoolroom. What in the world? Silverwolf exclaimed when Ralph handed him the squirrel. Quick, go to my room. Get my first aid kit. It's under my bed. Ralph scurried off to the house. Silverwolf turned to Polka Dot. How did this happen? Well, I was driving along on my bike, minding my own business, when suddenly there was all this traffic getting in my way. There were these 3 rabbits eating breakfast right in the middle of the road. Then this grasshopper attacks me, and the state bird, the one you taught us about, flew right in my face. I didn't stand a chance. Silverwolf looked down at his pupil patiently. You're not telling me something. What happened to this little guy? Oh, yeah, he ran right into my tire. I don't know why. Maybe he was trying to get me in trouble. Not true, Ralph said as he came in with the first aid kit. I saw it all. You discombobulated that poor little squirrel. He was trying to climb up the tree as you were yelling at that goldfinch. You almost ran over that lizard because you weren't looking both ways like you should have been. Then you proceeded to ride at breakneck speed, very close, mind you, to the maple tree that he slid down from, and that's when your back tire ran over his leg. Polka Dot's eyebrows rose. Oh, that's how it happened. Well, I don't have eyes in the back of my head, so I couldn't see. Sorry, little guy. I guess I had better slow down some. Silverwolf grumbled something like, I'm going to have to keep a better eye on these 2, even at recess. He sent Ralph and Polka Dot out to wait for Julie and Timothy at the bus stop. Tell them to come quickly, he said. Then he made a splint for the squirrel's hurt leg. It didn't take long before the bus came. Hurry! Ralph yelled as the bus drove up to their stop. It's an emergency! What happened? Timothy called out through the window. Polka Dot held up his 2 front paws. We don't need to go through all the details. As Julie and Timothy charged down the stairs, Polka Dot continued. I'll just give you the highlights. A squirrel hurt his leg. How? Where? Julie asked. How is irrelevant, Polka Dot said, running next to her. Ralph called over his shoulder. Polka Dot ran over the squirrel with the back tire of his bike. He was going real fast and he wasn't looking both ways. It was my back tire, Polka Dot told her. Julie, you never put a mirror on my bike, so how was I supposed to see? So it's my fault? Julie said as they rushed into the schoolhouse. Polka Dot nodded. I'm glad you could admit it. Good. You 2 are here, Silverwolf said. We're going to need to put this little guy up for a few days while his foot is healing. Can you 2 make the big cage in my room comfortable? They all walked to Silverwolf's room. With a pillow and blankets, Julie and Timothy made a bed for the little squirrel inside the big cage. Why do you have this cage? Timothy asked. Oh, that was when I needed to fly across country. The airlines would not let me fly in the passenger section. Some rule about my size. Seems I need to be able to fit under the seat. It doesn't make any sense to me. I wanted to fly first class, be served an espresso, and fed a vegetarian meal. As it was, I had to buy this contraption and fly with the luggage. Oh, I'm grateful now because it's coming in handy. The squirrel fell asleep as soon as he was set gently on the soft pillow. Let's keep him, Ralph said. He's just so cute. No, a cage is no place for a wild woodland creature. He belongs at home in the old maple tree, several have told them. But if we give him a lot of care and attention, I'm sure he'll come visit us after he's well. Polka Dot said. Before he leaves, I'm going to teach him some traffic rules. He needs to learn to look both ways before sliding down a tree. And that's how it happened. Really. Stories are a force that gather and bind us together. Every morning, every day is the dawning of a new story. Everything that happens has a story written inside it. So get comfortable. Learn the storytelling skills, and it will benefit you the rest of your life, in social circles, in the business world, and in the educational world. So let's get started.